What's that tune you can't shake off? You know, the one that's been looping in your mind since this morning? There's a scientific reason behind this phenomenon, and it's called an earworm. These catchy musical snippets hijack our brains, playing on repeat like a broken record. But why do some songs stick while others fade away? Today I am talking about the fascinating world of earworms, uncovering the secrets behind these melodic invaders and why they've set up camp in your head. Let's start by understanding what exactly an earworm is. The term earworm comes from the German word Ohrwurm, which literally translates to earworm. Despite its creepy, crawly name, an earworm isn't a physical creature. It's a psychological phenomenon where a catchy piece of music gets stuck in your mind, playing over and over again. This can happen with any type of music, from pop hits to classical symphonies, and even jingles from TV commercials. Earworms are involuntary musical imagery, meaning we don't consciously choose to replay these songs in our heads. They often pop up unexpectedly and can persist for hours, days, or even weeks. While most people experience earworms as pleasant or neutral, for some, they can become annoying or even distressing if they interfere with daily life or sleep. Now that we understand what earworms are, let's explore the reasons why some songs are more likely to get stuck in your head than others. 1. The power of repetition. You've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. That's often the case with songs that become earworms. Repetition is a powerful tool in music, and it's one of the main reasons certain songs stick in our heads. When a melody or lyric repeats frequently within a song, it increases the likelihood of it becoming an earworm. This is because our brains are wired to recognize and remember patterns. The more we hear a particular musical phrase, the more familiar it becomes, and the easier it is for our brains to recall and replay it. Think about popular songs like We Will Rock You by Queen or Happy by Pharrell Williams. These tracks feature simple, repetitive choruses that are easy to remember and reproduce mentally. The repetition in these songs acts like a mnemonic device, helping our brains to encode and store the information more efficiently. But it's not just repetition within a song that matters. External repetition plays a role too. The more often you hear a song on the radio, in stores or on TV, the more likely it is to become an earworm. This is why popular songs and commercial jingles often get stuck in our heads. We're exposed to them frequently, reinforcing the neural pathways associated with those tunes. 2. The Goldilocks zone of complexity. Not too simple, not too complex. Songs that hit the sweet spot of musical complexity are prime candidates for becoming earworms. This Goldilocks zone of complexity is a delicate balance that keeps our brains engaged without overwhelming them. Songs that are too simple might not capture our attention long enough to stick, while those that are too complex can be difficult for our brains to process and remember. The ideal earworm sits right in the middle, offering enough musical interest to hook us while remaining easy enough to recall. This concept aligns with the Wundt curve in psychology, which suggests that we find moderate levels of complexity most pleasurable. In music, this often translates to songs with predictable structures, like verse-chorus-verse, but with enough variation to keep things interesting. For example, consider the song Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. Its structure is straightforward, with a catchy chorus that's easy to remember, but it also includes subtle variations in melody and rhythm that prevent it from becoming too monotonous. This balance of familiarity and novelty makes it an ideal candidate for earworm status. 3. The unfinished symphony effect. Have you ever noticed how a song often gets stuck in your head when you've only heard part of it? This phenomenon is known as the Zeigarnik effect, named after psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. She observed that people tend to remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones. In the context of music, this means that if a song is interrupted before it's finished, our brains might keep it on mental repeat in an attempt to complete it. This is why radio DJs talking over the end of a song, or hearing only a snippet of a tune in a store, can lead to that song becoming an earworm. The unfinished symphony effect can also explain why chorus hooks are often the part of a song that gets stuck in our heads. These hooks are designed to be catchy and memorable, but they're also incomplete on their own. Our brains want to fill in the rest of the song, leading to the chorus playing on repeat in our minds. This effect is so powerful that some songwriters intentionally use it to make their music more memorable. They might end a phrase on an unresolved chord or cut off a melodic line unexpectedly, leaving our brains craving resolution and more likely to keep the song playing internally. 4. The emotional resonance. Music has a unique ability to evoke emotions, and songs that strike an emotional chord with us are more likely to become earworms. This emotional connection can be positive or negative. A song that makes you feel happy, nostalgic, or even annoyed can all potentially stick in your head. The link between emotions and memory is well established in psychology. Experiences that elicit strong emotions are more likely to be encoded into long-term memory. When it comes to music, this means that songs that make us feel something strongly are more likely to be remembered and replayed in our minds. This emotional resonance doesn't always have to be about the song's content. Sometimes it's about the context in which we hear the song. A tune playing during a significant life event, like a first kiss or a graduation ceremony, might become an earworm because of its association with those emotional memories. For instance, Don't Stop Believin' by Journey isn't just catchy because of its musical structure. For many people, it evokes feelings of nostalgia, hope, or the excitement of a night out with friends. These emotional associations make the song more memorable and increase its chances of becoming an earworm. 5. The rhythmic entrainment. Our bodies are natural rhythm machines. From our heartbeats to our breathing, we're constantly surrounded by rhythmic patterns. It's no surprise, then, that songs with strong, steady rhythms are more likely to become earworms. This phenomenon is known as rhythmic entrainment. It's the tendency for our bodily rhythms to synchronize with external rhythms, including those in music. When we listen to a song with a strong beat, our brains start to predict and anticipate that rhythm, sometimes even subconsciously moving our bodies to the beat. Songs with clear, steady rhythms are easier for our brains to process and remember. They create a kind of internal groove that can continue even after the song has ended. This is why you might find yourself humming or tapping along to a catchy beat long after you've stopped listening to the actual song. 6. The linguistic hook. While melody and rhythm are crucial components of earworms, we can't ignore the power of words. Songs with clever, unusual, or particularly meaningful lyrics are more likely to stick in our heads. Linguistic hooks can take many forms. They might be clever wordplay, like puns or rhymes that tickle our brains. They could be unusual phrases that stand out because they're not part of our everyday vocabulary. Or they might be lyrics that resonate with our personal experiences, making them more memorable. For example, Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars is filled with catchy phrases like "too hot, hot damn" and "smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy." These playful, vivid lyrics are easy to remember and fun to repeat, contributing to the song's earworm potential. 7. The nostalgia factor. There's a reason why the songs of our youth often become the most persistent earworms. Nostalgia plays a powerful role in making certain tunes stick in our heads. As we age, our brains become less receptive to new music. This phenomenon, known as musical crystallization, typically occurs in our early 20s. The songs we listen to during our formative years become deeply ingrained in our memories, associated with the intense emotions and experiences of that time. When we hear these songs later in life, they can trigger a flood of memories and emotions. This strong emotional response makes the songs more likely to become earworms. It's not just about the music itself, but about the personal significance it holds for us. For instance, hearing the Backstreet Boys' "I Want It That Way" might transport a millennial back to their teenage years, evoking memories of school dances or singing along with friends. This nostalgic connection makes the song more likely to stick in their head, playing on repeat as they reminisce about those times. 8. The production polish. In the age of high-tech music production, the sonic quality of a song can contribute to its earworm potential. Songs that are well produced, with clear, crisp sounds and perfectly balanced elements, are more likely to stick in our heads. Modern production techniques can create songs that are incredibly pleasing to the ear. The careful mixing and mastering of tracks ensure that every element of the song from the bass line to the backing vocals, is audible and impactful. This sonic clarity makes it easier for our brains to process and remember the song. Additionally, producers often use techniques like compression and EQ to make certain elements of a song stand out. They might boost the frequencies of a vocal hook or add extra punch to a drum beat. These production choices can make certain parts of a song more memorable, increasing the likelihood of it becoming an earworm. Take a song like Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Its crisp, 80s-inspired synth sounds and perfectly balanced mix make every element of the song clear and memorable. The production quality enhances the catchy melody and rhythm, making it more likely to stick in listeners' heads. 9. The timing and context. Sometimes, it's not just about the song itself, but when and where we hear it. The timing and context of our exposure to a song can significantly influence its earworm potential. Songs we hear when we're in certain moods or situations can become associated with those states. For example, a song you hear while exercising might get stuck in your head during future workouts. Your brain creates a connection between the song and the activity, making you more likely to mentally replay the tune in similar contexts. Similarly, songs we hear at the beginning or end of an experience tend to stick with us more. This is known as the primacy and recency effect in psychology. The first song you hear at a concert or the last song played at a party is more likely to become an earworm because it stands out in your memory of the event. Even the time of day can play a role. Research has shown that we're more susceptible to earworms when our brains are in a slightly unfocused state. This often happens when we're tired or doing routine tasks. That's why you might find a song stuck in your head as you're trying to fall asleep or while you're doing chores. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.